Welcome to the Control Alt Society podcast.
Hey, good to be here.
So, I was looking at my calendar this morning, just kind of staring at it, and I had this realization. We were all promised a vacation,
A vacation, huh?
not like a literal one, a
Mhm.
cognitive one. You have to remember the pitch, right? From a few years ago when generative AI really exploded.
Oh, right. The great liberation of the workforce.
That's the one. The idea was the robots take all the drudgery.
Hmm.
They write the boring emails. They debug the, spaghetti code. They summarize the meeting notes.
The ones that nobody ever reads.
Exactly. And we get to have like a 4-hour work week, or at the very least, we get to go home at 5 with a clear head.
It was a very seductive narrative. The core idea was that AI is a tool for subtraction.
Right. It subtracts the grunt work.
But if you look around now, and I think if you're being honest, if you look at your own habits,
Yeah.
you're not seeing a lot of subtraction.
Yeah, I'm seeing clutter. Just more stuff. And that brings us right to the research we're digging into today.
Yeah, this one just dropped.
It's a paper from this month, February 2026, by Aruna Ranganathan and Jinky Maggie Ye. And the title is basically a gut punch. It's AI doesn't reduce work, it intensifies it.
It is a heavy title, but the findings really back it up. And what's so powerful here is that this isn't just a survey where they ask people, are you feeling tired?
Right.
These researchers, they actually embedded themselves inside a U.S. tech company for 8 months. They watched about 200 employees adopt these tools in real time.
So they had a front row seat to the train wreck.
You could say that, yeah.
Yeah.
They saw this phenomenon that just contradicts everything we thought was going to happen.
Okay, so what was the setup?
The company gave everyone access to these top-tier enterprise AI tools, but, and this is really the crucial part, they didn't mandate it. Management didn't come down and say, you have to use this to increase your output by 20%.
It was totally voluntary.
Completely, and that's what's so weird.
Yeah, that's the part I don't get. If my boss isn't on my back and I have a tool that makes my work faster, why am I not just, finishing up and then watching YouTube?
Or learning French, yeah.
Why on earth did the work intensify?
Because that efficiency didn't lead to free time. It led to this psychological trap.
A trap.
The researchers found that when employees first started using AI, they got this immediate rush. It feels like a superpower. All of a sudden, these little obstacles that would normally slow you down,
Like not knowing how to phrase an email or a specific coding library.
they just vanish, and you feel incredible.
Okay, sure. I get that dopamine hit. Look at me, I'm a wizard.
But that feeling, it changes your behavior. Because the work felt easier, people started taking on more of it, they expanded the scope of their jobs, they started working longer. Not because they had to.
Wait, they voluntarily worked longer hours?
They did.
That just sounds like a sickness.
It's what the paper calls workload creep. And it happens through 3 very specific mechanisms that I think we should break down. Because I guarantee you're probably doing at least 2 of them right now.
Oh, great. I'm almost afraid to ask, but let's do it. What's number 1?
They call it task expansion, and it's basically AI lets you fake competence in areas where you're not actually an expert.
Ooh, fake competence. I like that phrase.
And the paper uses this term that I just absolutely love. They saw non-engineers, so like product managers, designers, using AI to write software, and they called it vibe coding.
Vibe coding. Please tell me that is not a real academic term.
It is in this paper. It means you're generating code based on a vibe, a rough idea, without really getting the underlying structure.
You just keep prompting until it kind of looks right?
You got it.
Okay, but
Mm-hmm.
let me play devil's advocate. Isn't that kind of good? It's democratizing the skill. The designer doesn't have to wait 3 days for an engineer. They can just vibe code a prototype into existence. That sounds efficient.
It feels efficient to the designer, for sure. But here's the problem they saw on the ground. The designer builds the thing, mostly works,
Mostly.
but it's not scalable, or it has security holes, or it just breaks the second you try to connect it to the main system.
Yeah.
So, who do you think has to fix all that?
The actual engineers.
The actual engineers, and that is where the intensification kicks in. The engineers, suddenly they weren't just doing their own jobs anymore.
No, now they're debugging everyone else's mess.
This vibe-coded mess, yeah, from people who didn't really understand what they had built in the first place.
So the engineer goes from being a creator to being a janitor for AI experiments.
It was worse than that, actually. It changed how they collaborated. Before, you might have a formal code review. Now, it was just constant informal Slack messages.
Hey, can you just look at this? The AI wrote it, but it's throwing an error.
Exactly. The engineers said it was like being pecked to death. They were constantly coaching colleagues who had, and this is a great quote, just enough knowledge to be dangerous.
That creates this huge hidden tax on the whole organization. The non-experts feel super productive, but they're creating negative value that the real experts have to pay down.
And the non-experts were burning out too, because they're taking on tasks that aren't in their job description. They stopped deferring hard problems. They just thought, well, the AI can probably do it, so I guess I should do it.
That's the superpower trap again. Just because you can doesn't mean you should.
It just blurs all the lines of responsibility. If everyone is kind of a coder and kind of a writer, then everyone's just cleaning up AI hallucinations all day.
Okay, so that's task expansion. We're all doing jobs we shouldn't be doing. What's the second mechanism?
This one. This one really worries me from a mental health perspective. It's called blurred boundaries and ambient work.
Ambient work. Sounds like background music.
Think about the biggest barrier to starting a piece of work. Usually it's just the start.
Blank page, yeah.
You have to sit down, you have to focus, muster the energy. That friction is actually a good thing. It protects your downtime. You don't start a huge report at 7 p.m. because it's hard.
Right. I am not opening a blank Word doc while I'm making dinner. No way.
But with AI, the blank page is gone. You don't have to write, you just have to prompt. And prompting doesn't feel like work.
It feels like chatting.
Exactly.
Oh, I see where this is going.
The researchers saw this one specific behavior they called the quick last prompt. You're done for the day, we're packing up. But then you think,
Oh, you'll just throw this one last request into the AI so it can work while I'm driving home.
you do it, don't you?
I do that.
Yeah.
I absolutely do that. And I tell myself I'm being efficient. I'm using the downtime.
But you're not. You're destroying the boundary. By sending that prompt, you keep that cognitive thread open in your brain. You're anticipating the result. And because the interface looks like a chat window, like iMessage, it just slips past all our mental defenses.
So people were prompting during lunch.
During lunch, in other meetings, while waiting for a file to load.
So work becomes this gas that just expands to fill every available second of the day.
Ambient is the perfect word for it. It's just there. All the time. There are no natural pauses anymore. That 5 minutes you used to have while a file rendered.
Now you fill it with another prompt.
You're in a state of what the study calls continuous involvement.
And the really scary part is nobody told us to do this. We're just doing it to ourselves because we're addicted to the feeling of speed.
It creates this constant low-level cognitive arousal. You never fully log off. And that leads right into the third mechanism, which explains why we feel so busy. They call it the partner illusion.
The partner illusion, is that like when you think the AI is your friend?
It's more like you think the AI is a competent collaborator who can handle things for you.
Yeah.
So employees started treating it like a parallel processor. They'd spin up multiple threads at once. Okay, I'll have the AI draft the marketing copy in this window while I debug code in this window and have it summarize emails over here.
I mean, that sounds like the definition of productivity. I'm a maestro doing 3 things at once.
But you aren't doing 3 things. You are managing 3 things. And our brains are terrible at that. It's not parallel processing. It's just high-speed context switching.
Which we know is a complete productivity killer.
It's devastating for your cognitive load. You're constantly toggling your attention. Check the copy, is it wrong? Tweak the prompt. Switch to the code. Did it hallucinate a library? Switch to the emails. You basically become a frantic manager of 3 mediocre interns.
So the partner isn't taking work off your plate. It's just throwing more balls at you and demanding you catch all of them.
But because the AI is so fast, it sets a new rhythm. The study found that expectations for speed just shot up internally. If the AI spits something out in 10 seconds, you feel this pressure to review it in 10 seconds.
The partner sets a pace that a human brain just can't sustain. This paints a really bleak picture. We've got people playing vibe coder, work leaking into our lunch breaks, and we're juggling a dozen AI threads at once. But here's the million-dollar question. Does management care? Because if the output numbers are going up, isn't this a huge win for the company?
And that is the manager's dilemma. If you just look at the dashboard, productivity looks like it's through the roof.
Lines of code written, up. Documents drafted, up. The boss is happy.
For now. But what the researchers warn about is silent burnout. Because this is all voluntary, right? It's all framed as learning and experimentation, so employees aren't complaining.
They're just drowning quietly.
And eventually that accumulation of fatigue and context switching leads to really bad decisions.
Right. If I'm vibe coding at 8 p.m. while managing 3 other AI tasks, my work probably isn't very good.
You're degrading the quality. And when you finally crash, it's a hard crash.
Okay, so we can't just tell people to stop it. That's never going to work.
Yeah.
Did the researchers offer any actual solutions? Or are we just doomed to this ambient work hellscape?
No, they did. They proposed a really concrete framework. They call it establishing an AI practice. And they're very, very clear. This cannot be left up to the individual. The organization has to set the rules.
All right, give me the playbook. What's an AI practice look like?
It's built on 3 strategies: intentional pauses, sequencing, and human grounding.
Okay, let's take those one by one. Intentional pauses. That just sounds like take a break, which nobody does in a crunch.
It's not about a coffee break. It's about building friction back into the process. The whole problem with AI is that it's too frictionless.
We need to add some speed bumps.
Exactly. A pause might be a mandatory step. For instance, they suggest that before any AI-generated code gets merged, you have to go through a counter-argument phase. You literally have to stop and list one reason why the AI might be wrong.
Oh, I like that.
Or you have to link the output to a specific long-term company goal.
So it forces you out of that just click the button execution loop and back into a strategic mindset.
It widens your attention field. It stops you from just drifting along with what the AI gives you. It turns reaction back into reflection.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
What about number 2? Sequencing.
This is the antidote to the multitasking, to the partner illusion. Sequencing is just about batching your work. It's the discipline to say, I will not react to the AI immediately.
But the little notification is right there. It's blinking at me.
The organization has to normalize not answering it. It means moving work in coherent phases. You do a prompting phase. Then you stop. You go do something else. Then later, at a set time, you come back and do the review phase.
So you treat the AI output like it's physical mail, not like it's a text message.
That's a perfect way to put it.
That's a huge culture shift, though.
Yeah.
My boss knows the AI is instant, so they expect the result instantly.
Which is why it has to be an organizational practice. Leadership has to model it. They have to say, we value deep thought over instant twitch response.
Okay. And the last one, human grounding.
This one is maybe the most critical, especially to stop those vibe coding disasters. AI encourages you to work solo. You're in your silo with your bot. Human grounding means you mandate human-to-human connection.
You mean meetings, like actual meetings?
Not status meetings, thinking meetings. The whole point is you have to break the solo loop. If a designer is using AI to prototype code, there must be a human grounding session with an engineer before they get too far down the road.
To sanity check the vibe.
To reintroduce perspective, AI gives you a synthesized average of everything on the internet. A human gives you friction and context and weird edge cases. You have to protect that time for human dialogue.
Or you just end up with a company of 200 people all furiously working alone in their own little AI bubbles.
And creating a product that doesn't actually make sense to anyone.
It's interesting. All 3 of these solutions, pausing, sequencing, grounding, they're all basically about slowing down.
They're about reasserting human control. The paper ends on this really profound thought. They say the question isn't whether AI will change work. That's a done deal.
Right.
The real question is whether we will actively shape that change or just let it quietly shape us.
That quietly part is what gets me. We didn't decide to become ambient workers. It just crept in through the chat window.
And if we don't build these guardrails, these AI practices, we're going to end up in a world where we have the most powerful time-saving tools ever invented. And less free time than ever before.
That is the ultimate irony, isn't it? We built the machine to do the work so we could play, and instead we're just playing with the machine all day.
We became the machine's managers 24/7.
Well, this has been a terrifying reality check. I'm definitely going to think twice before I send that one last prompt from the parking lot today.
Let it wait till morning. The server will still be there.
It really forces you to ask, though, if your work has become ambient, if it's just filling all the cracks in your day, have you actually left the office? Or have you just forgotten how to turn off?
I think for a lot of us, that switch is already rusted over.
Thanks for listening to this deep dive. Go touch some grass. We'll see you next time.